the heals are going to be there that you have to deal with. So we'll find out here. But ladies and gentlemen, we're now jumping into the final game for this upper bracket semi-final in the best of three. It's 1-1 across the board for Mongolia and Philippines. And we're jumping in here to game number 3. Take a look at the emblems here.
Yeah, it's Cannon using the Fredrin now. And the EXP. So looking back on the emblems of how this thing goes, there's a lot of agility here for Mongolia. They want to aid more of the response early game. They want to step on the gas early and quick against Philippines.
And that's, that's the thing. Even with that back going to the draft, with Fredrin kind of being flexed so much, even Grok, technically. Like, we've seen Grok placed in what? The side lane, the jungle, Roam. We've seen him there. So, there's so much flex here happening as he takes a little poke damage as well. Should be fine, no one going down just yet. But that's the thing, right? And also taking a look at the fact that you have 2 Purifies here from Mongolia, right? Going to be working around that. So the work for the Philippines is going to be cut out for them, especially as they get to these early objectives, trying to really find the positioning they're looking for too. And if anything, Saison has to have a very similar game to he had in game 1. He's got to be able to build a momentum on this Hayabusa pick, right? That's the biggest thing he could do to secure themselves at least a better early game against them compared to the previous game. But I feel like this time too, OSX, we see a lot more heavy spins being utilized offensively.
Oh, look at that. Inigo receiving damage. Will he be the first blood? That's been denied by Archangel now. He's going to be the one to go down first. Mongolia takes the first blood against Philippines.
Great pickup, right? Already leading into that first turtle of the game. This should give them that advantage to go ahead and secure that. But already, Archangel is going to be up, so still could turn into a full force fight. But right now, we've got Saison just planning himself for the orange buff. Could possibly just give this one up. Might be the best case scenario. ZX Aura going to start it up. Unigo's trying to get some vision here available, but they already know it's half health, right? What can we do? He doesn't also have the wild charge, and there's not much that him or Cannon can do. So they just give up that first turtle, which is, again, early death kind of leads into that, right? Like, that's kind of how the cookie crumbles.
You might need to find a way, Jim Carrey, on how
I don't know. We're getting to that point, it's like lunchtime, so.
Yeah, so how will the cookie crumble for Philippines? Because having a loss in the well, it's not that big of a deal in the early game, but they would really want to get in with the trades. You might want to invade camps. You might want to steal that out from Mongolia. It's what they're doing now. It's the vision that they're trying to do. With Unigo being present there, he has more chance to delay the jungle of Mongolia as at this point, because they need more time for Regatiano to have his own way of getting damage up against this Claude Bebex.
Yeah, and this is the scary thing, though, of that early kill, because it went in the hands of Forbid, right? And Forbid, he had an amazing game the previous one. And early kills, oh, hold on. Okay, they get the wild charge out. Unigo is going to be fine, but there's still many members here in the top side.
Wow, they're forcing out resources, ultimates out of Philippines now in a 4-man rotation. Well, this is the nature of the SS in their own lineup. Might want to even be aggressive or even passively defensive. But in this case, they might be the one to step or make the first move against Philippines, because now it's an open time for them to just delay all of their momentum.
Man, right now, this is a way more aggressive ZX Aura.
I know, right?
From what we saw in the previous game, right?
With having the Estes, we were talking about how a great tank could be paired up for Mongolia to go up against the Philippines. Well, the answer with purely sustained. So I say now the discipline with Saison and the members of the Philippines are still showing and having a great way of pacing themselves on what will be the right moment to strike.
Well, right now, it's like I said, he's just kind of planning himself here in the Philippines jungle, making it a hard time, right, for the rest of the crew to secure their buffs. Even Saison going to go ahead and start up his purple, but the full force is here.
Wow. Heavy spin, pinning down Unigo. Now Archangel receives in with the rough waves. Will the burst be enough? Being trapped in RWM. He can't escape that burst. Now Saison has secured his purple. Now Cannon using Appraiser's Wrath to take down 2 members out of Mongolia, but it's almost just appeal to the lineup of Mongolia. The threat of the Estes, the regen, is just showing through this early game.
Yeah, you can see how much of a problem it is, you know, and they are going to try to trade some here. It's going to be a turtle going into the hands of Mongolia. Saison might just try to take the purple, but great coverage here from the team members of Mongolia to allow ZX to get that turtle and then, you know, not get his buff stolen, at least for now. So still, Philippines just kind of falling behind, you know, at the 5-minute mark. It's about almost a 2K deficit that they got to work behind, but you see them just kind of scrapping, looking for anything they can. A couple first items already picked up by the majority of the members here, right? Still, we've got Archangel working for that COD, not having that just yet. Corrosion Dice already locked in for Recutiano, also working on the next items here. Hunter Strike for Saison, but they need a little bit more time for that power spike to happen, you know, and the fact that, too, on the other side, you have items like the Ice Queen Wand already locked in by Forbid. Like I said, he got that early kill.
Good
so
vision.
It's building up, right? And objectively, it's going to be a little bit harder to contest that. A lot of these wild charges, too, are being committed defensively from Inigo. So it's tough to deal with.
Yeah, and if you were a Grok right now, what he's doing is good, trying to gain with the vision for Saison. And most of the times, he's trying to reset. But they need to be careful. There's a heavy spin here present from Team Mongolia, but that is the burst. It's just
not going to find the mark.
Not going to find the mark, but Bebex, on the other hand, destroys a turret. Philippines now trying to look for an exchange. Saison up against Aizen. He forbids him to get that purple out of his, to get his hands on.
Aizen forbids, right? Alongside Forbid as they still fight for dominance around this purple buff. Saison just trying to grab what he can. He might try to whittle his way back towards this. Archangel, though.
Unigo dropping his HP bars low. Now he's going to be being the target of Sora. Now Cannon tries to hold off, not to be penetrated, but that is a flicker being forced out. Saison secures his purple. Sora too late for the steal. He might be in trouble. Heavy spin has been committed. Now he's going to turn around for a retreat. Void Crystal slowing Cannon down. Now Mongolia having their eyes on that. A flicker in a penalty zone, but Philippines escapes the wrath of the possible burst. But Aizen secures the kill. A follow-up from Archangel takes Sora's down. Now Saison here trying to get in for a kill. Aizen missing out the hammer down, but another turret takedown. 2 members out from Philippines at a trade of 1. Mongolia seeing openings of the lineup of Philippines going through.
It's just Aizen, man, he's massive, just like he was in the previous game on this Terizla, and this is what people were expecting when they saw it for a glimpse of it anyway throughout this tournament, and it's the same thing. He's 4-0-0 now, 740 into the game. And what is the answer, right? Half the time, every time that flicker is available, and sometimes when it's not available, he's still making plays with the penalty zone. So this is a great start once again in Game 3 for Mongolia here as they continue to build that gold lead. Still at about 3K. Next Turtles up here. They might just clean sweep the Turtles, taking 3 for 3. But Philippines, they've got to kind of collect themselves. They've got to be able to find the targets they're looking for. Yeah. Even Archangel hasn't been able to find the combinations, right, with the rough waves or the petrify, finding the targets, because also you just have so much sustain to work through here. Yeah. So Unigo once again trying to get some vision.
They need to pierce through the defense and sustain of Mongolia. Now with the setup, we're seeing turrets being destroyed. Setup for the Turtles now with Mongolia. Now, Philippines still waiting for the right moment to strike. Half HP onto this first Lord. Nobody near from Philippines.
Yeah, I think they just give this one up.
Yeah.
They can't even contest it, right? And then just the disparity in terms of... it's not even so much of a massive gold lead, right? It is now about 3K still, 3.5. But it's more so like, how do we get through this sustainability? Because they don't have the tools they need right now in terms of items, right, to burst through things. Archangel might be able to find one pickoff. Better yet if he can get Ethan down. But it's been relatively difficult for him to do that. So now, with the first Lord already secured here by Mongolia, it's up to the Philippines to defend against this, right? In terms of defense, in terms of high ground defense, they don't have the best clear in the world, right? It's nothing like, for example, if they had a Farsa or something. They would have to utilize a lot of their ultimates to clear things out here. So they've got the work cut out for them as they just try to scramble together here and get ready for this Lord March.
They're so aggressive. Most of the orange and purple showing up, they're just there. Ready to contest, ready to force out. Mongolia here is just really having a good time holding off Philippines and taking out of those resources in their hands. Gotta be careful for Aizen though. Ultimate and Flicker is up for possible setups. Second tier turret going down as well. Cannon trying to hold on, trying to taunt in. RWM being set up on Philippines. That's the rough waves. That's the burst. Evading, but force out an ultimate out from Forbid. No RWM though.
Still clearing. They're
Still
going.
clearing Zora. Cannon evades that heavy spin with the flicker. Half on HP. The bottom as well. Clear coming from Saison. Okay, this is the macro prowess that we're talking about. Is this when the time is Philippines going to strike here? Because looking at all the damage that they have the Clock of Destiny, they have the GS1 now for Archangel. So will this be the burst that you're talking about? Is this enough now for Mongolia?
No, I think they still need more time. You know, we're only at 10.5 minutes into the game, but still it's at that transition. Like I said, where usually the Philippines is the one shining here, that mid to late game transition. But right now, Mongolia, very similar to what we saw in the second game, they are just pressing on the gas and not letting up at all, taking as much as they can from the Philippines as well. And it's really difficult to play around that because, you know, at the same time, yes, Saison might be able to push some of these lanes, but relatively, you don't want to be caught in fighting 5 versus 4, especially with an Estes, right? Ethan is just going to continue to heal up his team. He is the main issue here for Philippines. And right now, even looking at the items, you know, you saw there, they don't have exactly enough burst just yet. Maybe in another 5 minutes, they'll be a little bit closer there. But that's why you see them really just trying to avoid some of these fights, get what kind of gold and XP you can, and hope that you can actually stand toe-to-toe against Mongolia as the game goes on. But it might be even better if Philippines either looks to punish a mistake from Mongolia before the next Lord comes up, or they possibly give it away and try to defend again. But even looking at the damage leaderboard, it's tough, right? Cannon's the top for Philippines, and that's, you know, that's bad news when that's the case.
In the middle of 4 from Mongolia. Will they need to contest this? They have the Maleficor present. Look at that. Throwing out shurikens, trying to poke in members of Mongolia. Domain of the Moon Goddess being showed there. Holding on and slowing down Philippines trying to re-enter this pit.
Okay, right now, buff going to be secured here. Still getting in position. Could be in trouble. Eisen.
Light wheel marks will connect to Eisen. Will the damage be enough? Now, that is Cannon trying to look for something to taunt here at the side of Mongolia. Meanwhile, 5 members present, 5 members ready to get this Lord. It's going to be Sarate, and with the flicker combo from the penalty zone. We're going to get out of the back lines, receiving the light wheel mark, taking down Eisen. Finally going to kill Memex with a trade. That's a double for Saison. Is going well with the Uchi shadow kill now, leaving Mongolia open. Now Unigo still dropping down his HP bar, but it's not giving up. Zar secures the kill, but Cannon as well with a trade.
Wow.
And I have you with my back. Reketwiano with a kill. 4 members down. Zora is the one left against the Philippines.
ZXOR and Saison, 1 versus 1.
1 versus 1, and he's not letting it go. The last member, and Philippines utilized that moment to just keep on pushing.
Man, what a turn of events. But the upside there from Mongolia, they did get the Lord, so the Philippines has to back off, deal with this as fast as possible. They managed to get 4 kills out of it, right? But still, it's relatively, they narrowed down the gold lead a little bit, but that's the moment, right, where they look for the pivotal shift, and that you can see this. The plan here for the Philippines was to get the heal, get the Blessing of the Moon Goddess out from Ethan, and then they turned around. It was a push and pull between both teams. As Saison goes in, gets a couple kills as well. They get the call to keep fighting because they had the position they needed, and they knew Ethan was down. The problem, too, here was ZXORA, still quite deadly on the Sakai, right, and ends up eventually killing Saison, too. So, as we saw right here, now it's still the Philippines with their backs against the wall, right? They might have had a little bit of a win there, but Mongolia is still in control of this game, right? The Philippines managed to get a couple turrets, but essentially they're still trying to buy time. You know, I just said this about 3-4 minutes ago when I said in about this time and maybe another minute or 2, they're going to be in a, yeah, that's a lot of math I'm throwing out there, a lot of time math, right? But they'll be in a position where they can actually go full force fight, but it's dependent on dealing with the Estes. And you can even see, right, they've got multiple options item-wise to deal with the sustain. Not just through the Dominance Ice anymore, but they also, Saison picked it up, right? He now has one as well to deal with some of that sustain, kind of play around the heal and the timing of it, and hope that you can get it through.
Yeah, that's a good item pickup, though. the Rose Gold Meteor up against Mongolia. Have two. Burst, hold that thought. Cannon right in the middle of RWM. Archangel with the dive and the rough waves being targeted onto Forbid. That's the burst coming from the Philippines now. Light Wheel March still connecting. Saison secures the kill. Sara is down. Now Archangel will be in trouble. Forbids him to go back to base. Saison with the pokes pushing back Mongolia. 23 seconds for the Lord with a trade of 1-1.
Okay. It's a 1-for-1 like you mentioned. Right, but the jungler went down here. He's going to be up just about the time, a little bit late, that this Lord comes up. If the Philippines decides to just go for this Lord and take it as fast as possible, that's going to be crucial in the shift of this match here. They're looking for a kill on Aizen.
Pin down from the wild charge. Aizen now receives the damage from a team of Philippines. Now Bebek's trying to get into the back lines. Will it be enough for the defense for the BMI? Now Philippines trying to secure this objective. Unigo dropping down HP bars here for the members of for the Philippines. Recadiano securing the cams as well. Mongolia's eyeing to get this and contest this Lord.
Here comes ZX.
ZX as well.
Aizen holding it down. They're still going to be working on him. He's got a penalty zone defensively out of there. Lord's still going to be worked on. Will reset, though, as both teams try to find their space to work with around this objective. It's a crucial point. 16 minutes in. It's about even in terms of economy now. The Philippines have worked from that gap they had. It's up to Mongolia to find the positioning. Here comes the conceal.
A pin down to 2. Now Recadiano's running wild with the damage, with the burst, with the follow-up from Few. That is Team Philippines getting through the damage of Mongolia. Sustain won't be the answer. Recadiano on a killing spree. Bebek's taking down Archangel with the trade. 3-1. Philippines completely winning that baiting them out in taking that Lord. And Philippines clapping back slowly. 16 minutes in.
That is tough. And that was a decisive action from the Philippines to go ahead and use the conceal, the wild charge combination. They knew that Mongolia was trying to form up a play there to get to at least the Lord to contest it, and they collapsed down on them. They also got the heals out early. The penalty zone had to be used defensively, so you lose a massive part of your component with this composition that Mongolia has. Taking a look at the replay here, you saw it, right? Also the knock-up, the 3 members there right on point, and you just have Rectiano just unleashing freely, right? And that's a big problem, especially now you're seeing this carry online, and now they got to defend against this Lord push.
Cannon trying to taunt one. Lord with the push, destroying the last turret in mid in Mongolia. This is now the story. This is now the question. Who is going to go down in the lower bracket to go up against Cambodia? Now Philippines is pushing through. The lead is with them. Immortality is being present. Blade armor present in Cannon. Ready to deflect damage against Bebex.
Okay, we still can't count out, too, the fact that Mongolia has the tools they need to initiate a fight if they want to. Biggest thing at this point in the game is you start to have to consider these immortalities popping up and what that does to your strategy in terms of initiating fights or even playing defensively. As we take a look at the damage leaderboard too, it's shifted a little bit, right? Cannon isn't at the top anymore for Philippines. Recutiano is online. He's ready to go. The main point for him too is positioning. If Mongolia can somehow get to Recutiano, take care of him, and get him out of the picture, then the Philippines loses a ton of damage available to them, right? They really do want to get this carry down. And on the other hand, you have Bebex. Bebex should have the ability to turn the tide of a lot of these fights, and they're going to be clumped up together.
Sora.
Obviously, the Ube strat, hold on.
That is the taunt from Cannon. They're really checking their bushes now. Look at that, Saison throwing out shurikens. Archangel with the dive, and that is rough wave. That's the magic burst from Philippines. Will the heal be enough? Unigo is trying to find the right target, but Sora trying to evade that light wheel mark. Look at that, Recadiano going wild as well with the damage as well. Aizen popped that ultimate, but now Recadiano is going wild. Damage pulling through. Saison taking down for a bit. 2 members out of Mongolia. All immortalities being used. 2 members out. 3 members left to defend Mongolia. Philippines pushing through.
So that's the green light. Philippines able to just go ahead and possibly set up for another Lord take here. It's going to be a little bit before Ethan and Forbid are up, but just in time, hopefully, for that fight. Meanwhile, you see pressure being put on the top and the bottom, all lining up. Penalty zone.
Well, trying to evade, trying to sustain. Look at that, the longest Uchi shadow kill, and he's still sustaining it. Recadiano is pushing the base. It's only open for the Philippines. It's going to be Recadiano, and as well as Cannon. Now Philippines knocking in the base of Mongolia, and they've done it again. Surviving the possible reverse sweep. Philippines has punched their ticket in the grand finals for IESF.
Man, oh man, that was a little shot of deja vu, right? But this time it wasn't just Recchiano doing it. And what a game plan. You plant Saison up there, you get the attention, you have Archangel help him out, the rest of the team shuffles up, you have a play in the bottom lane, and they push through just like that. Again, this is something we talked about OSX